Hello and welcome. You're tuned into Your Trades on ET now. I'm Shristi Sharma and with me is Snehisha. And Snehi, what a great day coming in for the markets yet again, because once again we are seeing Nifty as well as Bank Nifty ending in the green, and not just that, even the broader markets were quite supportive.
Very good day coming in and not much to complain for, to be honest, Shristi, actually. Today.
Well, yes, Snehi, there was indeed a little bit of volatility throughout the day. We have seen Nifty as well as Bank Nifty flip-flopping between the red and the green territory, but the good part is that a lot of sectors and a lot of beaten down sectors actually, from the likes of IT, life insurance companies, even some of the banking names were seen to be once again making a strong comeback, because on the Nifty 50, if you see, then Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech as well as SBI Life were seen to be leading from the front, but on the flip side, some bit of a profit booking is what we have seen in select metal counters, auto counters as well as the FMCG pack, which has been doing pretty well in the recent while. But on to the closing basis, we have managed to hold on to that 22,800 mark, while for the Bank Nifty, it was a gains of more than 200 points is what we have ended the day with. But other than that, there was a lot of stock specific action, because post the election verdict, we have seen a lot of brokerages coming out with their key sectors that they are looking forward to that could actually be beneficiaries of the new NDA government formation. Brokerages did call out for housing finance companies, city gas distribution companies, as well as some of the alcohol beverages counters, which have seen great moves throughout the day. Other than that, even ITC was in focus, Nehi, because the demerger has been finally approved for their hotel business. It's a full majority that the demerger has got with, and even this stock was in focus and ended the day almost at the day's highest point. But other than that, Snehi, even Z was on the roll.
Absolutely, Z also on the roll, because somewhere towards the middle of the day we had that announcement coming in from the board members at Z that they have gone ahead and they've approved that fundraising of up to 2,000 crore rupees via issuance of shares. Now this could be via private placement, QIP or any other means that the board seems fit. This of course is still subject to the shareholders not coming in, but at least from the board side and from that point of view, this fundraise has been approved. And also all eyes will be on the MPC outcome tomorrow, where the rates are expected to remain stable. But what's important to watch is the stance that the RBI is going to take. Are they going to be status quo? Are we going to see a neutral coming in from a withdrawal of accommodation stance that they have been maintaining for the longest time? So that is going to be important to watch out tomorrow. And well, Shaktikanta Das's commentary is going to be very, very important to watch out tomorrow, because well, GDP growth has been stellar. Inflation seems like it is coming back under control. Latest figures at 4.83%, and remember RBI's target is to bring it at 4%. So as we near those levels, what is the outlook going to be like? What is the RBI going to do? All that and more will be key factors to watch out for in tomorrow's MPC policy outcome. But let's keep on going with the markets then, and some stellar moves we've seen today. Some stocks, the likes of, you had BHEL was up 9%, Uno Minda up 13%. Lots of stocks, the likes of those companies buzzing, like Shristi mentioned, housing finance companies, insurance companies, alco beverage stocks on the back of brokerage notes. Very stellar moves coming in. But let me now take it across to Kunal, who's joining us to give us his technical take on the market. And Kunal, well, thanks for joining us. And yet another cool off coming in on the India Vix front. Can we, would it be safe to now say that volatility is at bay, considering that we still have the main swearing in ceremony happening over the weekend? How much do you think that is going to fluctuate, or how much do you think that is going to impact the market volatility?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think major part of the volatility is out. So the event volatility, where the markets were building up over the last maybe 2 months, 1.5 odd month, where the India Vix had risen from 10 to a high, I think, which we made around the 30-31 mark for the India Vix. That major round of volatility is out. The fact that we've fallen below the 20 mark and the 18 levels, which were two very important break down points for the India Vix, we could probably be at a convincing zone that now we could be not seeing any major rise in the VIX, unless there's something which is dramatically happens, at least in terms of the news flow or across the globe. The other way to look out for is that when VIX drops down significantly, the range for the index narrows down. So for example, maybe 2 days back, the range was almost 2,000, 3,000 points for the index. Till yesterday, it was almost a 1,000 point range for the Nifty. And now it's gotten restricted towards just 250, 300 points for the index. So now 22,750 could act as a pivot for the Nifty, and I would probably expect a swing between 23,000 and 22,500. So any dip below the 22,500 mark or just closer to those levels, I think should be taken as a very strong buying opportunity for the Nifty.
All right, so 22,500 to be seen as a buying opportunity, and 23 on the upside is where Kunal is spotting levels. But Kunal, amid a market like this, where are you seeing value? What are your picks?
So I'll go with two Biocons, and Biocon is apparently something which I've been bullish on. That stock has shown very strong signs of a breakout today. So finally closing about the 325, 330 mark, which had been a huge resistance for Biocon for quite some time. So looks attractive for a potential target of 360, and stop loss could be now kept at 310 mark. And the second would be one AB Capital. This is also something which I've been very bullish on. The stock confirming a bullish engulfing breakout, a swing breakout above 220 mark, 225 levels in fact today. So would suggest a buy with a target of 250, and stop loss could be kept at 218.
Yes, Kunal, we'll let you go on that. Thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now. But indeed, one of the stock that we wish to highlight on the breakout stock today is coinciding with Kunal's pick for today, and that is Biocon. Though Kunal can help you with the stop loss and target prices, but just on the technical front, we wish to highlight the breakout that we have witnessed today. Almost more than 9% gain is what we have witnessed in Biocon, and that's actually a sign of a strong stock. Why so? Because this stock was indeed in an uptrend. We have been highlighting some of the recent breakouts that we have seen on a stock like Biocon, but on the day of volatility just a couple of days back, we have seen that the stock dipping down more than like so much percentage points, and again back to that 270 odd marks. But yet again the stock resumed its uptrend. Not just that, it actually managed to cross its earlier peaks and taking a bounce exactly from its 20-day moving average, well supported by the long build-ups, and that's one of the strong charts that we have highlighted on the breakout side. We're moving on to the next counter then, and that too is a breakout stock, because a lot of these stocks were making a strong comeback, but this is one of the beaten down counters from a beaten down sector, and that is the Infosys from the IT space. If you will see that the stock has been clearly under the pressure, was taking and consolidating at its 20-day moving average, and today confirming a breakout. A falling trend line breakout is what we have seen in a stock of Infosys, taking a bounce from its 20-day moving average, closing the day at the day's highest point, telling you that it was indeed a strong day for Infosys, and that's what we wish to highlight on the technical front. So these are the two breakout stocks for today.
All right, Biocon and Infosys making it to Shrishti's technical radar today. Very interesting moves coming on both of those stocks today. But let's slip into the word from the wise segment. And today that is Madhu Kela, the market veteran, and he has a bullish stance on select PSU bank stocks. But mind you, he's not bullish on all public sector entities. Let's go across and listen into his rationale and why he likes public sector banks so much.
I still remain very, very bullish on the PSU banks, for instance, selectively. I think they are not trading at crazy valuation. Some of the large banks you can still find that they are trading at 5-6 PE multiple if you are willing to take a 2-3 year view. Now, why should a public sector bank which is making 20% ROE should trade at 5 PE multiple? I am a 5 or 6 PE multiple. I am not able to figure out. You know, market has re-rated quite a lot in the last 3 years. In terms of prices have gone up, but the valuations have not yet become crazy for me to give the discomfort. But the same level of comfort I don't have across PSU sector.
All right, then moving on to the next story, where the National Stock Exchange scripts a world record after clocking in the highest single-day transaction on June 5th. My colleague Ansh is standing by with some interesting data over a decade. How has the performance been over the years? Cash market, derivatives, and more. Take it away, Ansh.
Yes, yesterday we witnessed very high volume as NSE made a world record of registering highest number of transactions in a single day, recording around 1,971 crore with a total trade of more than 28 crore. Now, if we check May month data, then in the cash market, average daily turnover was over 1,12,000 crore, which is up by 54% on year-on-year basis. Whereas if we talk about equity derivative market, then there it was around 332 trillion rupees, which is up by 32% again again on year-on-year basis. We have also collated data for last 10 financial year to see the growth of this trend, and as per that we are seeing that in cash market the number of trades has increased by 3.7 times from 183 crore in FY15 to 681 crore in FY24, whereas the total turnover has surged by over 4.7 times from 43 trillion to over 200 trillion rupees. Now if we talk about equity derivative segment, then the total turnover has skyrocketed by approx 144 times from 556 trillion in FY15 to directly almost 80,000 trillion rupees in FY24. Now let's see what are the benefits of this. So firstly, investor will benefit from this on the back of higher liquidity, more opportunity and better returns. Secondly, brokerage firm because of increased revenue, new clients and higher volume. Third, listed companies on the back of easier capital raising. Fourth would be market analysts like research analyst and investor advisor as well, because of more demand for insights and report as well. And lastly, regulatory body because of higher fee revenue. So overall, it is positive for both market and market participants.
All right, Anj, thanks for taking us through that very interesting data you've called out for us, our viewers. With that, we'll slip into a very short break on this edition of Your Trades. We'll keep it going with everything that was abuzz in the markets today, so you stay tuned. Hi there, welcome back. Still watching Your Trades on ET Now. Thanks so much for staying tuned. Let's take a look at how the F&O space has shaped up today and what the derivative outlook is looking like. First up, for the index futures trend, then for the 27 June expiry, we did see some long build-up for both Nifty as well as Nifty Bank. So positive moves coming over there. Shifting focus to what India Vix was up to today, another 11% cool off is what we saw on India Vix today. Remember, a 29% fall in India Vix is what we had seen yesterday also, and adding to that was another 11% drop. So India Vix has significantly cooled off to 16.8, indicating that volatility in the market is reducing as we speak. And in terms of active calls, then for the 27th June expiry, we did see some active calls being written at active calls being bought at 22,900 and the 23,000 levels. So both those levels are key to watch out for. But on the flip side, on the active put side for the 27 June expiry, some put writing was seen happening on the 22,700 as well as 22,600 levels, making 22,700 the next support level to watch out for. So well, yes, watch out for both of these levels on the Nifty, 23,000 on the upside and 22,700 as your support level.
All right then, those are the derivatives data that we have been watching out for. But with this, viewers, let's move on and let's shift focus to the big story of the day. And indeed, we are putting the spotlight on the city gas distribution companies, because just after the election verdict, City has come out with a note where they're highlighting that all these city gas distribution companies, and apart from that, GAIL will be in focus, because they do believe that the new government that will be formed, there could be some reforms related to the tax collection, where the entire gas value chain could be coming under the purview of GST. Now, the new government to have a majority in the GST Council as well, and given NDA's focus on enhancing the usage of the gas in the economy, this could be a big booster for all these city gas distribution companies as well as GAIL. Though the timeline remains uncertain, but this is a development that could likely take place. Now, onto the stock-specific ideas, City has said that two of the major players in the whole space, that is GAIL as well as MGL, could be beneficiaries on the back of benefit from the taxes as well as higher volumes and conversions. But on the flip side, do watch out for GAIL as well, because any changes in the tax structure, there could be potential 3% earnings benefit through the tax savings on the captive gas consumption, plus indirect benefit through the increased gas usage in the economy. And that's why they're saying that even GAIL is something that you should be watching out for. And throughout the day, we have seen that the stocks were holding up quite strongly. GAIL, IGL and MGL were indeed in focus.
Well, absolutely, Shrishti. CGD stocks did pretty well in today's trading session. There was another group of stocks that was in focus today, and that was the entire Alco-Bev space. And this on the back of a note by Citi, where they said that the ND has proposed easing liquor regulations in the state. My colleague Ashesha is joining in to understand what the implications of this note are and how this will pan out for all of these Alco beverage companies that were in focus. Ashesha.
Well, yes, NDA had proposed easing liquor restrictions in the state of Andhra Pradesh, and now that NDA has won state elections in the state of Andhra Pradesh, Citi believes that favorable regulations could come in for the alco beverage industry, and that could positively benefit players the likes of United Spirits, United Breweries, etc. They also say that Andhra Pradesh market contributes about 5 to 6% of UBL and USL's total revenue mix, and they believe that regulatory changes could favorably benefit these players. Remember, Andhra Pradesh earlier had imposed restrictions on liquor sales in terms of the number of outlets and retail sales of liquor, and now perhaps Citi believes that the changing government in the state of Andhra Pradesh could positively benefit the industry.
All right, Ashesha, thank you so much for getting us all those details. But apart from that, which stocks were in focus? Let's go across to my colleague Gaurav, who is joining us to tell us all the buzzing counters for today. Over to you, Gaurav.
Well, yes. First, let's begin with IEX because we have seen a strong update coming up from IEX for the month of May. So when we talk about volumes, the monthly volumes are up almost by 29% on a YY basis. They have actually also recorded highest ever monthly volumes when it comes to RTM segment, that has increased almost by 39% on a YY basis. When we talk about green market, that has also gone up almost by 74%. And if you look at stock performance also, that is also in green today. Next, let's talk about RVNL because company recently got an order worth 390 crore rupees, and the execution period for this order is going to be around 24 months for the company. The order has been coming in from Eastern Railway segment, and on back of this we saw the stock was up almost by 4.5%. Next, let's talk about Z Entertainment because the company has now got in principle approval for fundraise of up to 2,000 crore rupees. Now we may see shareholders approval coming up for the company as well. But on back of this news, if you look at the stock performance also, that shot up almost by 5% in a day today. Next, let's talk about ITC because an important announcement is coming up from ITC. Now the shareholders have actually approved the demerger scheme of ITC Limited and ITC Hotels Limited. Now on back of this news, if you look at the stock performance, that went up almost by 1.5%. But we may see some further value unlocking coming up post the demerger. And lastly, let's talk about Century Textile because Birla Estate, which is actually 100% subsidiary of Century Textile, is developing a project on a land of 13.27 acres in Gurgaon, and the revenue potential from this project is going to be around 5,000 crore rupees. And on back of this news, if you look at Century Textiles share price also, that increased almost by 14.5%. So definitely watching out on all these stocks as how it performs for the investors in the days coming ahead as well, because we are getting a strong news flows coming up from all these stocks.
Gaurav, we'll be keeping a very close eye on all of these stocks because what stellar moves we've seen in the trading session today as well as the ones before this as well. But let's move on and talk about yet another big story of the day because sources tell ET now that macro growth continues to be the top of the Modi government's priorities. Reforms are unlikely to be deterred under the coalition setup. But what kind of reforms are in the works? Let's go across to my colleague Prakash, who has more details on this development. Prakash, over to you.
Yeah, the key economic reforms are likely to be dated under the coalition government as all India allies have extended their support to the BJP and Prime Minister Modi to form the next government. Along with that, India partners have supported PM Modi's vision to make India developed by the year 2047. In addition to that, Telugu Desam Party, which is one of the biggest allies under NDA, is in favor of next generation reforms to create new opportunities for the consumer and the industry. Along with that, what we are also learning from our sources in the power corridors, that the key economic reforms such as amendments in IBC Act, along with that reforms related to capital and digital public infrastructure to taken forward. The ambitious labor reforms, which has already been approved by the parliament, they are yet to be implemented, to be taken forward with slight amendments. Sources are also indicating that the Modi government 3.0 to continue with the increased capital expenditure target to boost economic growth going forward. Along with that, mega rate rationalization under GST, which has already been supported by the state government, will be taken forward without any hurdle. Along with that, government to continue with modest disinvestment target, and the value generation in PSUs will be the focus. The sources are also indicating that the energy transition goals will be taken forward with the pre-decided target, and that is likely to be on top of the agenda of the next government. Last but not the least, the sources are indicating that the manufacturing growth through PLI schemes to be continued, with most sectors on radar. Back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Prakash, for getting us those latest updates and quite an interesting details out there. But apart from that, Snehi, it's been an event-heavy week. And like we started the week with a very big event, we are ending too with a very big event as well. So from the RBI monetary policy, what is the expectation?
So, well, Shrishti, tomorrow being a Friday, it'll only feel like a Friday once this big event is done. But here's a list of everything that we're expecting to happen in the RBI policy outcome tomorrow. Repo rate is expected to be maintained where it is. So that's an expectation that we're getting. It's a common consensus. And status quo then is expected to be maintained, and all eyes will be on what the stance is going ahead. Will withdrawal of accommodation change to neutral is one key element that is important to track as well. Moving on, then let's also understand what else is the street expecting. They're expecting rate pause to continue and overall stance to soften. Now, when you take a look at India's GDP growth trend, we have come from 6.1% in quarter 4 FY23 to 7.8% in quarter 4 FY24. These are the most recent numbers, which means that GDP is growing well. It's been a stable growth. GST collections have also been robust and rather stable when you take a look at May 24 compared to Jan 2024. So good move coming on that front as well. What's important to note is India's inflation has largely come under control. It would be fair to say that, because in June 2023, we were at 4.8. July 2023, we spiked to 7.4. There you have it on your screen. But in April, as of now, the latest figures are as good as 4.83. Remember, RBI's target is 4%, and we're very close to those levels as well. So on the back of this, what's going to be the outcome is going to be one key factor to watch out for. Experts are suggesting that this stance change is likely in August, followed by a rate cut coming in the October meeting. But as of tomorrow's meeting, they expect everything to be stable and rates to stay elevated till inflation is above the 4% target of the RBI. Also, why are these rate cuts getting delayed? What are the key reasons? We're seeing resilience in GDP growth and momentum in domestic demand, and focus on inflation continues to be pretty good at the moment. Lastly, what are going to be the key factors to watch out for tomorrow? GDP growth and trajectory commentary is going to be important. Inflation forecast is what we'll be very closely listening to when the governor speaks tomorrow, and liquidity measures, increase in rupee volumes, as well as foreign exchange strategy change. All of these factors is what we'll be closely watching out for tomorrow when the RBI governor gives his commentary, Shrishti.
All right, definitely we will be watching out for that. But Snehi, we also caught up with Samiran Chakravarti, who is the Managing Director of the Chief Economist India at Citi Research of Citigroup. Let's go across and listen in what he had to say.
This combination of growth and inflation is probably telling them to stay on guard. On top of it, given that there is now some uncertainty on the fiscal outcome, they might want to see through it. They want to see through the monsoon situation as well before they can embark on the easing process. This is a policy where the MPC should be focusing more on risk minimization. There are some risks emerging, particularly on fiscal, bit of political uncertainty. In these kind of times, it's better to not rock the boat by doing major changes. So in that sense, the change of stance could more be an August policy discussion rather than in June.
Alright, well, lots to watch out for in the key event coming tomorrow, RBI's monetary policy outcome. But viewers, with that, we completely wrapped up on this edition of Your Trades. Shrishti, it's been a pleasure doing the show with you today. And from Shrishti, me, and the entire team that put this show together, thanks so much for watching.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.